Dear viewers, welcome to this session on digital data protection. This topic pertains to one of the program which is postgraduate certificate in cyber law offered by School of Law IGNOU. This certificate program is of 6 months duration and you can enroll in this program in January session or for the July session. The student can however complete this program within their own pace, that is 6 months to 2 years. The topic today which we have chosen is data protection, basically which relates to data privacy, data protection, which is a key issues and concern for the today's life. This is also related to one of the course which is relating to Data Protection Act offered in the program, Data Protection Act. Today, if we look into the today's world in this digital economy, we can say that most of the informations are being shared online. We are not only sharing the information, but many events are happening through this cyberspace, which is though a fictional space which is created by the fiction of science, but has become a reality. And this cyberspace where lots of sharing is taking place, there are so many online transactions which are happening. We are purchasing online, even not only goods, but services are also hired online. So there are various, I think it has become, the main part of the modern life today, where everybody is using the mobile technology or information communication technology. But this has also led to many opportunities to the many criminals which are using the computer or as a tool or a target or sometimes incidental to crime. If we look into today's many digital, many reports or many news, you will find that there are so many data breaches or there are so many concerns for the data protection. So in this digital media, with the advent of new technology, the use of mobile phones and other communication devices globally has challenged the traditional notion of jurisdiction. It has also led to the possibility of invasion of an individual, easy circulation, individual privacy, ease of circulation of various material content which could be obscene, indecent or pornographic. If we look into the certain news, for example, the business news shows that India ranks 10th globally in the data breaches. And if we look into the Asia, then the position of India comes to the number 3. If it accounts in the third quarter of 2023. There are certain issues also which emerge from the cyberspace. It is not only the privacy concern, which we will discuss in detail later on, but there are many issues which are emerging because we are using this cyberspace. For example, democracy, national sovereignty, or integrity. These are also issues which are happening, which are very important actually to understand. Then the jurisdictional issue is there because everybody knows that internet is a boundaryless place. The cyberspace is a boundaryless, and it has certain nature of anonymity also. And people are circulating wide information through this cyberspace. Then consumer protection issues, which become very important, and again because now lots of e-consumers are there who are purchasing online through the virtual marts or online shopping they are doing. Then there are various issues like how to balance the rights of intellectual property rights holder. That is the person who is having, who has the intellectual property rights. That is a right over an idea which is created or which relates to any information or publication, any publication of research documents or any other, which is the creation of one person's mind. So that person's intellectual property should be respected. Rights should be given to the intellectual property holder. But at the same time, there are certain movements also that no, the information should also be shared. So how to balance between these two rights, intellectual property rights and also the open sharing of information? That is also a very important aspect. Then there are various other issues also. Initially, there were some issues of digital divide, like who can have an access to the ICT and who cannot have access to the ICT. But now that is very minimized, we can say, at the global or at the national level in India, because even the rural households or even the urban household, everybody is now using the mobile technology and hence using ICT in one or the another form, various social networking sites have been used by the masses, and it has become the integrated part of our day-to-day life. But with this, the cyber crimes are also emerging, and these crimes, we can say, both the civil crimes, or it could be a criminal crimes, civil wrongs or a criminal crimes, because we are using the term in a generic sense, which covers the scope of both civil and criminal wrongs. But the crime, if we have to define as a cyber crime, which are the crimes which is related to the computers or basically to the network. So there are certain crimes which are traditionally crimes, if we look into the Indian Penal Code, which provides various criminal laws and punishment for them, and now is replaced by Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. So there are certain crimes which were traditionally always a crime, but their magnitude has been enhanced because of the use of the cyber crimes, because of the use of this cyberspace. And there are also technological driven crimes also, which is aided because of the use of ICT or computer aided technologies. But the key area of concern is basically privacy, data protection, and security. Now, if we talk about data privacy and security, sometimes people do use interchangeably these two terms, but data security basically deals with how to secure the data, which is passing through the unreliable links or through internet, that it should not be deleted or modified. So certain techniques are used, maybe the data is encrypted, or certain multiple monitoring systems are set up so that nobody can have access to the data. That means it is restricting the access of data to the unauthorized persons. So that is basically the concept of data security. But when we talk about the data privacy, the data privacy basically deals with how the data which is collected by an organization, which belongs to a particular individual, should be collected, used, or disseminated. That means when we are, for example, when we are purchasing something, or we have to put our data like basic information about our residence, our name, our contact informations, etc. So those information, how it could be collected by the organization and in which way it could be used. So that is the main thing where the privacy of a person should not be infringed. That is the main thing which revolves around the data privacy regulations. So basically how the information can be used and disseminated, especially we can say the sensitive personal information belonging to a particular person. Now data privacy, the concept of this data privacy in this digital economy, if we see, the processing of the personal data has become omnipresent, because the information is being shared or disseminated from extensive variety of sources. So as a critical component of any business model, so virtual markets are there and they are dealing with the collection of data of the different people. And now the issue comes is how this information is utilized, because they are using either directly or indirectly the information is being used. While data can be used for a beneficial use, the purpose could be the benefit of the user or the consumer. But if the data is unregulated and it is the misinformation or a wrong information is used, or the data is incorrect data, or the data is without any authorization, is passed to the third party, so it infringes the privacy of the person or a subject. So that is very important, how the data is privacy of data is maintained. When we talk about data, basically it could be any information or a knowledge, or it could be facts which is formalized in a formalized manner. And when we talk about the digital data, that also become very important, because it is an electronic representation of the information which is in the machine readable form. For example, where the binary language is used, zeros and one is used. But the main importance is that data which is processed through digital means or otherwise, also the data needs to be protected, especially the personal information or a sensitive of information of the person should be protected. We can see that there are lots of breaches, data breaches we could see. However, before that, I would like to mention here that right to privacy has become a fundamental right. It's a fundamental right of the person. However, it is subject to certain reasonable restriction as per our constitution, because it could be in a public order or morality. Then the government may ask some for the disclosure of information of a particular person. That is for maintaining the law and order. But it is a fundamental right and it should not be infringed. So this was held in one of the cases, Justice K.S. Puttaswamy and others versus Union of India, 2017. But now suppose what happen if there is absence of any data protection law. So it would lead to surveillance, it would lead to infringement, and even independence of an individual. The freedom of individual is somewhere restricted. And then if there is no, there would be more profiling of the consumers. For example, even now also many organizations or many e-marts, they are doing profiling. On the basis of profiling, they give you certain suggestions. Okay, you buy this. Sometimes you will also look into when you are searching for purchasing some dress or some goods over via online any platform. We will find that after some time you start getting advertisements relating to the thing which you have browsed, that okay, purchase this for this much of amount. So this, how this is happening, somewhere the profiling of the consumer data is being done by the organizations. So basically when we talk about the privacy or a data privacy, and the law is also now pointing out towards how to regulate this, that the personal information should be used only for the purpose it has been taken from particular consumer, and then after that it should be either deleted or it should be kept. If they want to keep that record, it should be with the consent of the person who is we call the data subject or a data principal. So it should be with the consent of that person. You can keep the data and it should not be disseminated to the other parties or a third parties for any monetary gains. Now, there are certain reports which I would like to mention. Cyber Threats Defense Report 2023, which says that 85% of organizations, they suffered at least one successful cyber attack last year. 73% of organizations were compromised by ransomware. 78% ransomware attacks include threats which is beyond encrypted data, and it also leads to increase in the security budget, which is increases 5% more than if we compare to the previous year. Then there is a report which is by Apple, which is titled as The Continued Threat to Personal Data, Key Factors Behind the 223 Increase. Now, report illustrates that the historic threats to user data that we saw, that the number of data breaches nearly tripled between 2013 and 2022, which compromises 2.6 billion records over the course of years, maybe, which is getting worse in 2023, we can say. In the US alone, there are nearly 20% more breaches just in the first few months of the 2023 than in any previous year if we look into the reports. Further, the 2023 report service finding shows that over 80% of breaches involved data which is stored in cloud. That is very important because this is, after attacks targeting cloud infrastructure, nearly doubled from 2021 to 2022, and now also it has been increasing. Now, when we, for example, we all are using cloud services. Even if our mobile, we have to back up our photographs. So we back up in our Google account sometimes, and which is using the cloud services. So this cloud is actually very much vulnerable to the hacking. So that becomes, the breaches which happen in this, which relates to the data stored in the cloud, is the most, we can say, expensive, and the number of infringements are increasing every year. Now this, when we are saying we are talking about data breaches, it has also impact upon the cost. So cost of data breach, which is according to the report of IBM, it says it is increasing day by day, and the global average cost of the data breach in 2023, if we look into, is USD 4.45 million, which is a 15% increase over the last 3 years. 82% of breaches involve data which is stored in clouds. So 82% breaches is only relating to the data which is stored in clouds. So the cost of healthcare breaches is also to be considered, which has continued to increase. Average cost of data breach in India, if we talk about India particularly, it is INR 179 million in 2023, where the phishing accounts was the most common attack, and followed by stolen or a compromised credentials, which is amount to 16%, or we can say social engineering is a major cause or a root cause of breaches at the INR 191 million, which is followed by basically malicious software, sometimes threats that also amount to approximately, we can say, INR 188 million. So there are so many breaches which is taking place globally, not only in India, globally, and we can also look into the certain examples. If we look into this is by the source which is from which I have cited. This is the biggest data breach of 2023 as per the Analytic Indian magazine. There are various reports you can also refer to, which is listing out the various breaches which is happening globally and particularly in India. X Twitter, for example, in 2023, where $2 only for the $2 one could purchase a dark web database with the email address of around 200 million users. So Reddit also was a victim to phishing attacks, leading to a data breach that resulted in exploitation of the compromised credentials to access the internal documents or a source code, or it relates to the employee data or a limited information about the company's advertisers. ChatGPT in 2023, if we look into, there is also a glitch in their service, and inadvertently it exposes the records of customers' data, including their partial credit card information, their details. So there are various breaches which is happening place. For example, another few example is MSI, which is the computer vendor. They also face certain glitches. Then there are many other breaches also. For example, T-Mobile, they also suffered some sort of breaches. Move It, which is relating to where the information is transferred to the file. Roblox, Duolingo, Sony. So there are various examples. Even the Facebook had suffered somewhere the data breaches. They have also faced these issues. Or Zomato, they have faced the issue. Then Starwood Hotel, they have faced the breaches where the data of many of their customers was leaked. So there are so many data breaches are taking place, which basically where the violation here is the privacy of the individuals, because we are giving our information and that information gets leaked or it's compromised, we can say. So that is the most problem which is arising throughout globally in India and throughout the world. Now, it is so far we are talking about these are the privacy concerns which we are having. But what is the law to regulate that? Specifically in India, if we talk about, we can see that data protection. It could be through the main act is the Information Technology Act 2000, which also provides legal recognition to the electronic records. So whatever we are doing through e-means, that falls within the IT Act, and it is a legal records. So IT Act provides for data regulation. There is not much provisions, but Section 43, 43A, Section 72, 72A, they basically deals with the IT Act. Then is we can say Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita is also, we can also refer to Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which provides punishments for certain crimes which were traditionally the crimes or a conventional crimes, and with the aid of technology their magnitude has been enhanced. Then there is a new act which has come into force, which has been passed in 2023, the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. Now, Information Technology Act, it provides specifically for the breach of confidentiality and privacy under Section 72. It also says unlawful acts relating to the disclosure of information, in violation of lawful contract is a punishable offense under section 72A. Then these are the offenses and penalties which is listed out in under section 72 or 72A. It provides us for the penal punishments also. But section 43 or 43A basically deals with the compensatory provisions where the person who has the data is harmed somewhere. So section 43 provides for penalty and compensation for damage to the computer system. Section 43A of the Information Technology Act provides that these data acts lay down requirements for basically bodies corporate or a person who is located in India. So it is fixing the liability for the corporates who are in India, that they have to follow the privacy norms, and there should not be infringement of any privacy or data privacy relating to a particular consumer, or basically relating to the sensitive personal data. If we look into the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, it listed out that there are certain crimes, for example, defamation, false document, cheating, fake identity, stalking, pornography, which is through cyber pornography also we can say, cheating by personation, financial crimes, cyber fraud, cyber terrorism, terrorist acts. So these are not only covered under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, but they are also covered under the Information Technology Act. So both the acts provides for these crimes, deals with these crimes, which is traditionally the crimes, and and also now also the technology-driven crimes. Then apart from this, there are certain rules and regulations. So there are so many rules and regulations. For example, Information Technology Rules 2009 relating to blocking the access to the public or certain information, or Information Technology Rules 2011 relating to the sensitive personal data. And the new one of the which is the newest regulation is the Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethic Code Rule 2021, which provides for which is a very soft we can say soft mechanism, which provides for pre-trial grievance redressal mechanism also. If an individual is facing any grievance, they can go to the website owner or the company or an enterprise, they have to maintain some grievance redressal mechanism. However, the new act is coming, which is the we can say the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023, which provides for it says that it actually strikes the balance between the rights of a person who is we can say data principal, that means a user or a person whose information is being shared, and also the rights of the enterprises, that the data is somewhere needed for the lawful purposes and matters connected thereto. So it provides for that the data should be processed only for the purpose for which it is specified, and only after obtaining the consent of the data principal or individual. However, the section which we have talked about earlier, the Information Technology Rules 2011, which relates to personal information of the individual, and section 43A, they will be replaced once the act come into force. So in the end, we can just say that to conclude, we can just say that data privacy is a very important issue. Though the Digital Personal Data Protection Act has been passed, but once it is enforced, we must ensure that it is accompanied by proper implementation. It has effective implementation, and the liability of the organizations can be fixed accordingly. And it's not only the duty of the intermediaries or the online marts to ensure the privacy of a person, data privacy, but it is also the duty of ourselves that we should also regulate how we are sharing our information, personal information, when we are using the social networking websites or various other social media platforms. Thank you.